it's not freaking fun at all. Just ricochet versus ricochet, definitely not the vibe. Oh, what's up? What's going on, guys?
Hello.
Don't say ricocheted. Say ricochet.
We're learning pronunciations today at the ripe age of 24. I'm learning so many things right now. But how are you guys? How's your week going? We have trade deadline coming up, post All-Star break. How's everyone feeling?
Feeling amazing. I've had Chipotle for 7 days in a row. I've had the same order 7 days in a row, and today we're going for day number 8. So that's my
What's your
Chipotle
go-to order?
So double steak, light guac, cheese, rice, and then Tabasco sauce on the side. Nice. Every time. Always double steak though. You got to go double protein. Go big or go home.
Yeah, that's very important.
Love that. I need to know though. Do they charge half price for the light guac?
Light pico. Light pico. So not guac.
I thought you said light guac. Oh, my bad.
I might have gone too fast. Light pico. Yeah.
Light pico is the vibe though. That's
yeah.
that's
I'm very basic these days. Yeah, I used to be a vegan, and my order was like all veggies,
wow.
And now I get double steak. Weird.
That's crazy. You used to be vegan?
Yeah, I was vegan for 4 years.
I don't think I could. That's crazy. Did you why did you switch back?
Because I tore my ACL my last year in college. I said, screw this. And I went to go get some crab legs. So, because I went vegan to get inflammation out of my body so I can play sports better. And then I tore my ACL again after, 3.5 years or whatever. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to eat some crab legs. It's my favorite food. So yeah, I haven't looked back since. So.
Damn.
Yeah, that is definitely a vibe. I've never tried to go vegan, and I for sure never will. Well, Lord willing, like if my daughter ends up being vegan, I'm definitely gonna have to hop on the bandwagon. But I'm crossing my fingers. I hope she's a steak and potatoes guy or girl.
Girl.
Gal, yeah.
My bad, Kate. My bad.
Okay, it's fine. But anyway, let's dive right in because I'm very frustrated about this. Mike Trout suffered another setback during his rehab game. I mean, when they came out and said that he was having the issues, they said it was not going to be season ending. We were all hyped, but him having another setback, I feel like at the end of the day, it's just bad for baseball. Like, it just sucks that we don't get to see him in the lineup. Like, I think he was on 8 straight years of being an all-star, and this was the first year it was snapped. Like, it just sucks for the sport.
Yeah, there are a lot of there's a lot of game upsetting injuries going around right now, but this one's definitely a heartbreaker for sure. Yeah, it's never fun to see like a superstar or a superhero, especially someone as awesome as Trout. I've had the opportunity to meet him a few times, and he's just a stand-up guy, and you never want to see that happen to such great people.
Yeah, this year I got to go to the All-Star game like Kate. And I just automatically assumed in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get to see Mike Trout play. Just like I just made the association All-Star game, Mike Trout. And then I thought about it, I was like, oh, man, he's hurt. Like, he's not going to be there. Mm-hmm. And to finally have that realization, like, that's the first time that I think since I've really, really been deep into baseball, that he hasn't been in an All-Star game. So it was very, very different for me. So do you guys think that his historic run is coming to an end or what?
I don't personally. I think setbacks are set up for a comeback, and I think he's going to persevere, and I think it may be another season, but I think I've seen a lot of guys recover from meniscus injuries, and I think it's definitely doable. And with someone who's as hardworking as him, he's going to kill that rehab process.
Yeah. I think he's fine. Obviously, a future Hall of Famer, and I do believe that we'll see 3 more good years out of Mike Trout, hopefully.
Yeah. I think that he's going to be he's had a lot of the injuries, but he's going to be like a LeBron type where he's just going to find a way to stay around longer than he's kind of supposed to and still produce just because he's freaking Mike Trout.
Yeah. He's a freak. But speaking of injuries, wait, I actually just wanted to get your opinion on this. I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday, but Mason Miller fractured his left pinky. But here's how he did it. So first it came out and said that he awkwardly put his hand on a table. And then later it was clarified that after the game, he was going through his recovery process and they told him that he had to do a post-game lift. So out of frustration, he punched the training room table. Now, wait. So, Bobby, you need to clarify this for me. I didn't know that pitchers have to do a lift after the game. Like, what is this nonsense? They have to lift at like 12 o'clock at night? That's crazy.
Yeah. So first of all, I just have to like say this. Like the article says he laid his hand on the table. Like, so we're talking about laying hands on the table. Okay, I got you. But they definitely said it in the messaging that he punched something, but I don't think anyone caught that at first. But yeah, post game workouts are so normal. Like you get to the field at like noon, you're for a 7 p.m. game, you're hanging out, you're there all day, and then everyone just assumes as soon as the lights turn off, you're done. But yeah, if you're a starting pitcher, you're breaking a sweat under the stadium for hours. You're a lot of guys, even after the stadium clears out, they'll go run like up in the stands, like they'll run stadiums in the upper deck. And yeah, there's so much that goes on after the curtains go down, man. It's pretty intense.
Yeah. Yeah. Random question for you, Bobby. I had a kid on my high school team who got drafted and he ended up going to like AAA with the Reds, and he threw gas. He's like 5'8", and he was up to like 97. And he would long toss after his outings. Have you ever heard of something like that?
No, that guy's a psychopath. that is crazy, bro. Like I understand the next day, but same day, that's insane.
Same day, like we'd get off the bus and he'd be it's crazy.
That's insane, bro. Like that sounds like a one of a kind like freak of nature, like a Trevor Bauer, where he has just like this insane routine that no one argues with because he throws fuzz. But yeah, I know a lot of like a lot of front office people who would just like absolutely hate that and do everything in their power to make him stop. Yeah, that's crazy. I do understand like if you're a starting pitcher and you have to go like finish up in the pen because you didn't get your pitch count limits. But yeah, no, if you're like a starting pitcher, you went CG and then you're out there throwing long toss after, that's just, to me, like that just screams injury waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of pitching, Paul Skenes, I have a bone to pick with the Pirates because I don't understand. This man goes out there, throws 8 1/3 innings, and gets his first loss of the season. Like, this was so frustrating to see. And then I looked it up. He actually hasn't had that much run support ever. Like, the past, I think it was 7 starts that he's went out. He's averaging like 3 runs a game for the Pirates scoring. I was very frustrated with this, especially because he's a young pitcher. Like, at the end, I think you just have to figure it out. Like, you need to help this man win the game.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing, and I actually got like Kershaw vibes from it. Like there was a really long run where Kershaw just was not getting any run support, and people were hating on Kershaw a ton. But obviously Skenes has a different record than Kershaw did at the time. But yeah, I think the run support is essential, bro. So I instantly thought of Ian and how much I'd be pissed at him if I was throwing gems and wasn't getting the run support.
I'm with you.
Figure
on
it
that,
out,
dude.
Ian.
I'm with you. I'd be pissed at myself, dude. The first thing I thought about was Jacob deGrom. Like, welcome to Jacob deGrom's life, Paul Skenes.
Yep.
Dominate on the bump and not have much to show for it. The thing is, Paul Skenes can swing the bat a little bit, and sometimes deGrom could swing it too, and he could go up and drive some runs. And there's some games I think he even did that. But Paul Skenes can't do a thing, so he can't do a thing at the plate, unfortunately, because he used to bang back in the day as a catcher.
Yeah. Wait, it was actually funny because when I was interviewing Skenes, I didn't realize that he hit at Air Force when he was there. And then when he transferred, the way he described it too, he's like, yeah, I just kind of said, oh, the pitching is kind of working out, so maybe I should just stick with this. Just kind of working out. Like, it's actually, that man is so humble. It's actually insane.
Yeah.
He's humble, but then he has that quote where he's like, yeah, well, you may know what I'm throwing, but good luck hitting it.
Yeah.
He's got that humble cockiness, that perfect balance. I love it.
Yeah. We were talking about this a little bit earlier on the show before we started to record, but baseball and softball is not in the Paris Olympics this year, which sucks. That makes me so mad. But it's going to be in the Olympics in LA in 2028. And Bryce Harper and Shohei have expressed interest in playing. So I'll pose you guys with this question. Do you think we should just like hold 4 weeks in the summer, or if it's 3 weeks, 3 weeks in the summer, no baseball, so that the guys can play in the Olympics? I don't know.
I would love that. Just
really?
saying, I would love that.
Okay.
That'd be sick.
That would kind of suck for all the people that aren't a part of the Olympics, though.
Yeah.
All the guys that have to like essentially take a month off. There are two ends to that coin, Kate. That's a great question,
right? Because the WNBA does that. They just don't play.
Yeah. But baseball, like MLB, like that's such an America's pastime. Everyone's so used to the cadence of like you have this much time to go through this many games, and having a hiccup in the middle of the season that might be throw a lot of people off. That's a tough question.
Do you say this might be a hot take? Do you say, you know what, you want to play in the Olympics, you can, but everyone else is going to keep playing? So what? You're going to go 3 weeks without some of the best players in baseball? I feel like you can't really do that either.
Yeah, I mean, double-edged sword, just like Bobby said. Here's the thing. When all the Avengers got on the team, was it last year or 2 years ago for the WBC? That was so electric, right?
So
I would love to see that. I would love to see that again. Like that, baseball was so fun to watch then, and I would do anything to see that. Now, it would suck for everybody else. It'd be really cool for the fans to watch that, though. So from a fan perspective, it'd be awesome. From a player perspective, not so hot about it.
Yeah, and I think from the article that I was reading, like the global footprint would be a huge factor there. Like you're making a stamp on like how the world views us. Like, I mean, even going into this Olympics, how France is just like, oh yeah, that's a baseball, or baseball is just like an American sport. We're gonna do breakdancing instead. Like, I think that's a wild thing, but yeah, to have a global footprint by adding baseball to America during the Olympics would be pretty sweet.
Do you think any country could compete with the USA? Well, actually, WBC kind of was the same thing.
Yeah. I think I read that France like tried for 3 years to qualify for the WBC.
For baseball? Oh,
I
for
think
WBC.
for WBC, and they just weren't that good. So they're like, oh, we're gonna do something about that this year.
Interesting.
If you guys could play in any Olympic sport and say other than baseball, what would you play in? It's hard. There's a lot. There's like 34 to choose from.
I mean, I used to be a gymnast, so that's easy for me.
Oh, okay. It's very easy for Bobby to get on the vault.
Is ping pong a thing?
Yeah. Table tennis. Use the correct term, Ian. Come on.
Table tennis. Sorry.
I recant my previous opinion.
Table tennis. 100%.
I would for sure be on the team with Ian playing table tennis. By the way, dude. Ian,
that'd be sick. That's every baseball player's dream.
Yeah. You and I got to play sometime, by the way. I feel like you're just a closet like shark on the table tennis.
Yeah. I feel like it's good.
There's a reason why it was a theoretical, because it was like, if you could, because it's more of like, I'm terrible at it and I wish I could be good at it. Because like in the locker room, in baseball locker rooms, like who is the best at ping pong is like a real thing, like
really,
especially the pitchers. You guys are nasty at table. Oh my God, pitchers are the best. They have nothing else to do. I mean, they throw and then they run and then it's ping pong time. No offense, Bobby, but like
it's very true, man. I mean, I can't say that I'm not terrible at it. So.
I didn't know that's a big competition. I knew it was big in the NFL, but I didn't know baseball as well. But I guess, the pitchers, they throw one day and then they're done.
Oh, yeah. We got nothing better to do but to practice table tennis.
Do you think, Bobby,
that's why pitchers are always going
to... Go ahead, Ian.
I'm sorry. My connection's like laggy. But I said pitchers are good for two things. They're good for chirps because they have a lot of time to think of stuff, and they're good for games like spike ball and ping pong.
Yeah, we're just good at the most random things, bro. Speaking of pitching, I think we got PitchingNinja ready to come into this show right now.
Yes. Rob, how are you doing? Thank you so much for coming on.
I'm doing good. What's up, Ian Jenkins?
How we doing, man? Long time no see.
I know. That's crazy.
Yeah, small world.
I heard you talking crap about pitchers, though.
Yeah, I don't like you guys too much. Maybe because I hit sometimes. I try to.
I remember.
Man, Rob, pleasure meeting you, man. I've been a huge fan for a long time.
Hey, it's great being on.
Yeah.
I didn't know Ian was going to be here. That's awesome. He played with my son.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I was he was sharing a little bit with us about your guys' background. Could you give us a little bit from your perspective?
Yeah, he was a monster hitter, man. Dude can rake. Absolutely. So my son played with him on the East Cobb Yankees, and I just love watching. Like, I love watching the pitchers, but I also liked watching Ian too. It's some
Yeah.
monster bombs, man.
It's
that was cool.
yeah.
It was fun back then, man.
Absolutely, it was great.
Yeah, Ian's an extremely fun guy to watch. Definitely not fun if I'm the pitcher though. He seems like he'd be a pretty tough at bat.
Yeah, and I try not to watch his highlights, any highlights on Instagram or anything like that. I'm staying away from his channel. It's just bad vibes, man. Probably
I
vice
say the
versa,
same thing
definitely.
about your page. Same thing, man.
Exactly.
Rob, if you had to get Ian out, what would be your 3-pitch arsenal?
Oh, good.
I'm throwing him all sliders or something like that. We're not throwing him any fastballs. We're staying away from that. What do you think, Ian?
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
Maybe we'll throw him one out of the zone to try to get him to chase, but nothing that he can hit. I don't want to see the ball going 450.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if I throw something that's hanging, I am not looking back and watching that thing. I am staring straight ahead the entire time and just cussing out my glove.
Absolutely.
Man, Rob, so someone actually told me that they used to know you back in the day, and were talking to you a little bit about like arm paths, and they were saying that you were like one of the first guys to kind of get on board with kind of simplifying arm paths. And he said that maybe your son made somewhat of an adjustment in that regards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, talk to me about like how you kind of pioneered that and forecasted like that whole new vibe.
Well, a lot of it just had to do with if you throw overweighted objects, your arm tends to work efficiently, at least for you. I don't think everybody needs to have a shorter arm path, but it works for a lot of folks because, back in the day, everybody's taught to take your arm back. That's where velo comes from. And it turns out like some of the shortest arm path dudes throw absolute flames. Like look at Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly has this short little arm path. He and I talked about it. Like Kelly thinks about like throwing a medicine ball type thing. If you threw a medicine ball and you go long, you're going to feel a lot of strain in your joints. If you keep it short and compact, you're going to be pretty well off. So that kind of logic made sense to me. I don't think it's for everybody. Like I wouldn't change somebody just for the sake of changing it, but there are definitely some people that have been taught to lengthen their arm path and actually can cause some injuries and stuff and take away some velo for them too.
Yeah, that was definitely me. Everyone kind of put me in the sinker baller category because I was inconsistent with trying to ride the ball up in the zone. And fast forward like 5 years after my career and a shoulder surgery, I started looking at simplifying my arm path, and that's the best my arms ever felt. And it was all because I just learned how to generate velo in the right windows. So thinking about the last 10% of my throw instead of the first 10%.
Exactly. I talked to Cutter Crawford, actually changed his arm path for health reasons. He didn't do it for velo or anything. He just said he felt better being shorter, and he's got probably the shortest. Like he's a T-Rex dude with a little hesitation stuff going on.
Yeah, that's awesome. You said that about Joe Kelly. He actually trains at the facility of the guy who actually knows you, Dave Coggin.
Dave Coggins, yep.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been working with Dave for the last like 13 years. So yeah,
he's great. Like that dude is phenomenal.
Yeah, I love that guy, man. Speaking of Joe, he's one of the more weird guys that I've ever met. I wanted to get your take on it, man. Who's the weirdest guy you've ever interviewed?
All right, so Joe Kelly is absolutely a psychopath. Like there is no doubt that dude is crazy. I don't know if you saw yesterday. I had a video of him. Like he's holding an imaginary run. There's a runner in his head, and he's just looking at second base. I don't know what everybody was thinking. Like he's trying to hold this guy on, and there's nobody on base.
Awesome.
He actually, yeah, he invited me. We were in Arizona for spring training, and out of the blue, he invited me over his house. Normal dude, like other than his fascination with serial killers.
Oh my God.
Which made me wondering if I was going to make it out of there alive, but he assured me there's just a fascination. Great with his kids and stuff, but man, he's a little bit nuts. He may be the weirdest, like the craziest dude. Like it wouldn't surprise me. Number one, great pitcher. Number two, there may be like a live body or spotty skinned alive in his closet somewhere.
There's for sure some type of Beethoven playing in the background too.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. No doubt.
I feel like you have to be a little bit crazy though to be a pitcher. So I guess it works for Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it helps. Like it helps to be a little bit nuts because everybody's staring at you all the time. There's a whole lot of pressure. Like, take that pressure off. Be a nutcase. And he definitely is. The funny thing is the other guy over the house when we were there was Blake Trinan, who absolutely doesn't give any of those, like, he's pretty chill on the bump. They're very opposite in demeanor. And Trinan's about as filthy a dude as you'll ever see.
Yeah. Question for you. So who has like the craziest antics on the mound as far as just being like out there?
So I actually today had put up Austin Adams just doesn't have any filter when he's out there. I know a lot of people don't follow him, but he's crazy. Obviously, historically, you have like the Al Raboskis of the world. I miss that. Like you need guys with personality out there, right? Like
Zamblanos.
Yeah. Like what, as a hitter, what do you think? Like if you got a guy that's absolutely nuts, number one, you want to probably go yard on him. But number two, you're like, I don't know, man, this guy's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't like a guy who's crazy up there because I try and reciprocate that energy and it kind of takes me out of my game. I kind of get, I want to go back at him like that. So I don't like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got that's another way to get you out. Not only are we going to throw us sliders, but we're just going to start pounding myself in the head or something like that.
Yeah.
Ripping off my.
That's so funny. We're just picking apart Ian's approach and just figuring out exactly how to get him out.
I mean, we got to plan. We got to plot against him because he can rake.
It's true.
Dude, this guy can throw too. I don't know if he was throwing back in the day, but he said he had his debut in pro ball and was just casually touching 93.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What for hypermobile guys, what do you think the best pitching arsenal would be for them?
It's hard to say. Like hypermobile, it really depends because there's different ways to be hypermobile. I like a guy like even a guy like Chapman is hypermobile. Like he's jacked, he's hypermobile, ridiculously fast. So his mechanics are almost, I don't know, they're pretty flawless, but it's also hard for someone to repeat because he's able to get in positions that a lot of guys can't get in and still throw hard. So you have a guy like that, and then you have a guy like DeGrom, who I would imagine is hypermobile. I haven't seen him stretch, but look at him, a fastball slider, basically tight grouping. And Shohei is another hypermobile, strong athlete. Yeah. You can see him like, yeah, exactly. He can do that thing.
Yeah.
Chapman does it the reverse. Like he can touch his shoulders almost reverse.
Yeah. I can go back there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and Yamamoto for the Dodgers, also another guy that's got a ton of mobility. Pretty traditional pitcher, but these guys get velo in a whole bunch of different ways. So I don't know if there's one way to get it done, but I think it just depends on how you move particularly. Are you hypermobile?
I am. I'm hypermobile. It's part of the reason why I have so many injuries. Got to figure that out. But talked about my pitches a little bit. Okay, so I threw a slider. Granted, it went 46 feet. Okay, but the spin rate was 2780. First time throwing a slider. First outing ever. Not bad, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Got to get to go 60 feet 6 inches. Maybe a little further than that.
Key is to get the spin rate down. The reaching the plate thing's overrated.
That's overrated.
Tell it off a low fastball. You're going to get a sword on that, no doubt.
That's so funny.
It's funny.
Yeah, this guy, Ian, he's just a freak of nature. I feel like if he did anything, as long as it implied brute force, like I don't know if golf's your thing, bro, but
I can
everything else.
Dude.
Yeah. Whatever you're doing, man, as long as brute force is involved, you're going to be goated.
I would love to see him
I need
hit a
some
golf
finesse
ball.
in my game, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, are you a big golf guy?
I used to be until I had kids. Then I kind of stopped because my wife said you can't play every weekend, and I was like, I mean, to me, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it right, and I want to like I got in the groove of playing, and now I haven't played in a long time. If I play, I'm going to play in like kind of a scramble type thing and just try to hit the ball for.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
We were talking about some of the younger pitchers before, Skenes and Miller. Who has been your favorite to watch so far? I know you've interviewed a lot of the guys during All-Star as well.
That is tough because you named two of my favorite younger guys. Like,
yeah,
and they're kind of similar. They're both kind of chill dudes. Like, not a lot of emotion. Mason seems like he throws. You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know the dude is absolutely a flamethrower until you actually see him on a bump. Off the bump, he's just kind of a chill dude. Skenes is maybe the smartest young pitcher I've ever talked to in my life. Not only is he talented, like physically huge dude. I've hated standing up next to him because he made me look like a shit. It was terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, can somebody give me a ladder or something? Him and Logan Gilbert are two guys that I interviewed that I was like, this isn't like, can you squat down for me? Do something. Don't make me feel so small. But he's also brilliant. Like Skenes thinks about the game a ton. Thinks about pitch tunneling, thinks about how to improve his arsenal, has ridiculous command. So he's one of the guys that throws gas, has really good command, a ton of pitches, and a great brain for the game. So, like, he is the complete deal. And I kind of knew it when he was at LSU. After like the last third of my interview, a light bulb went in my head. I'm like, dude, wait a second. Nobody can hit you. You've only been pitching for a year. You love the game, and you're going to get way better. And you're already really, really good. But you're going to get really, really, really good. And I still think that. I still think he's got another level to go. And once he gets to that level, forget it.
Yeah. That's funny that you mentioned command because at All-Star, I asked Logan Webb, Tanner Houck, and Hunter Green, and they all said the same exact thing. They were like, the most impressive thing is his command.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. It's not often you see a young dude throwing flames that actually knows where it's going, and he does. And with all his pitches too. Like, I asked Skenes like how to me he picks out a different pitch to dominate with almost every outing, and he said, yeah, like if something's looking good in the bullpen, he throws a 15 pitch bullpen, and then I'll say, this is a weapon today, and he'll go out there and dominate with it. Yeah, just a crazy dude.
I was so impressed by like his one miss that he'll have a game. Like he'll miss like completely arm side on a splinker, but then just go right back with that sweeping slider in the exact same tunnel that his like terrible miss was on, and still get a sword on it. His recoverability is crazy.
Absolutely, and as we discussed with him, like to him, there's no waste pitch. You didn't waste that pitch if you're able to throw something out of that same tunnel and get a hitter to think that it's the pitch that was non-competitive and it ends up coming back to the plate. I mean, it's a great, like he visualizes the game really well. And I think part of it is because he started out as a catcher. Like I think that helps.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. Do you think there's an advantage to him, like pitching recently, like just getting into it?
I think so. Like, I think there's less miles on his arm. I think starting out as a catcher is really important because he knows how to read swings very well. And just knows like from sitting back there, what it's like, and actually, going up to the plate and being a real good hitter too. So he is the complete package.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Rob, I have a question because this has been bothering me this year and you're the pitching genius. So I need to hear your take on this. I feel like we have seen a rise in a lot of the Tommy Johns and a lot of the injuries from the pitchers. Do you think that's a mechanical thing? Do you think it's the pitch clock? Like from your perspective, what do you think is contributing to that?
I think it's a lot of it's a bunch of a little different things. So it could be like it's cumulative. Some guys, it could be mechanics. Like no doubt there's some guys that maybe throw funky. Their body doesn't work well with those mechanics and things break. But like, a guy that tears his ACL, do we say his running mechanics are bad? Or do we say, maybe he's, there are times where you throw a pitch and something gets hurt. There are times where you don't have enough recovery. So the muscles in your arm actually protect your ligament. And if you allow it to recover, then it puts less stress on your UCL. maybe fewer injuries. So sometimes it's fewer pitches helps. Other times it's ramping up too soon. So if you take a lot of time off or you don't ramp up correctly, that could cause problems because like anything else, your body adjusts to it. So there's so many different things. Some of it's the pitch types you might throw. Trying to throw a new pitch could put extra stress on your arm. So people trying to learn a different seam orientation, you wouldn't think it would cause a lot of arm issues, but it might because you're holding your hand a tiny different way. And that could cause issues, but we don't have the answers and we pretend like we do. We pretend like, oh, you got to, 100 pitches, that's the limit. And, you need to have this much rest, take this. Nobody knows those answers. For some guys throwing, like, I know Max Scherzer doesn't take any time off from throwing. Zach Gallen doesn't take any time off from throwing. And then some guys, they used to take the whole off season off and then pick it up in spring training. It just really depends. I wish we knew the answers. We don't.
Yeah, it's such a hot topic. That's one of the topics that I try to cover a lot on my page. And I never claim to know the answers. I just know that there's certain things you shouldn't be doing as a generalized rule. And I try to lean heavily into MLB Pitch Smart and just kind of help younger athletes because a lot of my audience tailors to the younger audience. So trying to follow specific guidelines and we're all just trying to do our best to help stop this epidemic. But
you made a great point because I think part of it is just being cognizant of it. If you know there are rules, follow them. There are doctors that have looked at them, and I can't say that isn't the right way to go about it. But there's so many things that go into it. The key is if a pitcher feels something, let you know if you're coaching and stuff. Like, don't just try to throw through it. And you got to know your own body. Like, you got to know your own limits. Kind of with everything, like you just do. You got to speak up. And I know it's hard because everybody wants to be that competitor going out there. You don't want to ever take yourself out of a game or say, Coach, I can't go today. But sometimes you should to, live and fight another day.
So that they can be interviewed by you one day.
Exactly. Totally right.
I love that. Yeah. Well, Rob, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate the time.
Thanks. It's great being here and keep it up.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Keep up your content too. It's like my favorite thing on Twitter.
Awesome. That's good. Well, anyway, take care, y'all, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Rob.
Of course. Thank you so much, Rob.
And Ian, stop dropping bombs, man. No more.
Stop discouraging my hitters.
See y'all.
Take care, brother.
Take care.
See ya.
He's great. God, I love him.
Yeah. That is literally
what a nice guy.
The most edifying thing. That was so cool. Yeah, I love that guy. So humble too, man. You'd never know that he's like the pitching wizard.
Oh, I know. He was like, well, I mean, it's a couple. He's just so smart too. Like he really knows everything. I was just so impressed by him.
Yeah. And to his comment about standing next to Paul Skenes, I think every one of us would feel the exact same way if we stood next to that guy. We would just all feel small.
I want to talk about this. Kate standing next to Tristan and Paul. Whoa.
That was a big height difference.
It was so bad because I went out and I met Tristan and we stood next to each other. I'm like, where's the Jeff Passan box? Like, can I stand on something? This looks ridiculous.
The Jeff Passan box. That's crazy.
Thank God they each had their own mics because I can't imagine me just fully extending my arm up trying to get them to answer my question.
Oh man, I'm just glad I wasn't in charge of editing that video because I for sure would do close-ups and then do a pan out and then close up back down or the swoosh down and then the swoosh back up and it would just be you constantly looking up. Oh man,
that would be awesome.
It was hilarious.
It was tough. I was editing the stuff and every single, even Hunter Green, Tanner, Logan Webb, they were all literally had to bend down to hear what I was saying. this is just horrifying.
At least no one took a knee. That would have been so humiliating.
Oh yeah, no. I escaped the knee. So we probably have time for one viral clip of the week. Can you guess which one I'm gonna bring up?
Oh no.
So there was a benches clearing brawl in the Red Sox Rockies game this week. Cal Quantrill, I've been saying this. This man's got a personality. He had that dialed up. Not going to go too far into this, but what was everyone's take on this little story? Look at Ian's face.
So without going into the actual story itself, I'm going to give my take. The fact that he was just fully prepped to just drop some knowledge and just like roast the heck out of this guy, you know that he was just looking for any opportunity possible to call this guy out. That just speaks to just like the toxicity of baseball and how much I love it. Like it's you got to have that ammo and you got to be ready to fire it. The guys that can think that quick on their head like that are freaking hilarious.
Yeah. Does it show how well prepared pitchers are to face their opponents? They got the pitch arsenal. They know exactly how they're going to attack you, and then they know what they're going to say to you afterwards. You know, like you guys are just, what are you guys trying to do to us?
It's probably on the spreadsheet. Like it's like in literally every single column.
It's on the scouting report, right?
Oh my gosh.
Dig up dirt on the hitters just so you can have something prepared.
Yeah.
Bro, Ian, isn't that true? Like the chirps from the stands in like a big D1 atmosphere, don't they like do the research on each of you guys and like try to figure out any way to get you out of your vibe?
Yeah, dude. I've had some crazy things said to me. Not so much research things, just some crazy outlandish things. But I've had some friends who like they call it their girlfriends, moms, sisters. You know, they know that whole deal. They know their ats. They know their sisters, brothers, boyfriends. Like, you know, you give the student section a name and social media and the internet, and they're gonna find anything, and they're drinking. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny, honestly. I kind of enjoy it sometimes. Sometimes just like, man, like you said that, but.
Dude, you got to respect the chirps. I get that's just part of what makes baseball fun. But I went to a really small college, so I didn't experience that, and I wasn't popular enough in pro ball for people to be doing research on me. So, yeah, I think you're a little more advanced than me in that, Ian.
That's crazy.
Yeah, what's your take, Kate?
On what?
On Quintrell. Do you think? Do you think it was outlandish of him to say that, or do you think everything's on the table?
I think similarly to you, I was just more very surprised that he was ready with it. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of for trash talking. Like, I guess you could construe it as taunting the other player, but that's all right. You want to say some stuff. That one I might have been a little bit out of pocket. Actually, I retract what I said. That probably is a little bit out of pocket to say on the field. But especially with like, you got to think about like the cameras. Like you have to think about everything that's going to happen on social media. John Boy didn't even have to do a breakdown for that. Like you could very clearly tell what he was saying. I feel bad for Reese McGuire. But you know, what do you do?
Yeah, that's we had a guy who had a little incident with a I don't know if you remember the story, but he kind of got stuck in a doggy door. I'm not even going to name his name, but during spring training, he was or during a rehab start, he had a little bit too much to drink, and he tried to get into his house through a doggy door, but it didn't end up being his house. And so for a long time, all of the opposing stadiums would play "Who Let the Dogs Out," and that was just a freaking hilarious chirp. I thought that was the most funny thing ever. But yeah, the chirps are real, especially when the stadium gets involved, like when they have the impersonations and or they have like the lookalikes. Oh, I'm all for chirps.
Pro chirping. But except I'm not the one playing. I'm sure if I was playing, I'd be like, no, I don't want anyone saying anything to me. It's going to freak me out, get me rattled. That's just me.
Yeah. It gets to the point where it can be like white noise a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Unless it's like too egregious, but yeah.
Cool. Well, guys, do you have anything else you want to add? Any pitching tips, any hitting tips? You guys have been crushing it on the content.
Yeah. What do you got, Ian, man? I'm pretty good. I think Rob gave me my pitching fix today.
True.
Yeah. What do I have? I got nothing for you, man. Hit bombs. Don't hit singles. They're not cool.
I love it.
That's all I got.
Well, this has been fun, guys. I'm going to hopefully not strike out in the celebrity softball game tomorrow. Let's all just manifest that I hit a home run or something. I don't know. It's going to be great.
Kate, if you hit a bomb, you will get a swing breakdown on my page, and I will blast it everywhere.
Really?
Slow-mo swing breakdown next to, your swing count. I'll give you a full post, full write-up and everything.
Okay. Then, you know what? I got to be on my A game. I'm actually going to start practicing today.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. And if there's any clips of you throwing, and if it's anything exciting, I'll do the same.
I don't know if you want to analyze arc, but you can if you want.
Overhead throwing from a position. I got you.
I can do that. Yeah. No, I'm a better defender, so I think that'll be better.
Okay.
Just don't make me compare you to Michael Rubin, please. Give me something a little better than that, and we're good. I would hate to roast you and give you crazy chirps. Okay.
That's fair. I think I could do better than that.
I mean, hopefully most people can, but
yeah.
Cool.
No offense, Michael.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Sounds good.
Deuces.
Later, guys.